Give it up one more time for Dax and Cash, FTR. So you guys did get the memo. This is a show and tell portion of the show. We'll get to that in a moment. First of all,
I just stuck this mic right up my ass. I didn't know it was sitting right there.
Should have warned you there, brother. Guys, first of all, how you doing? How are you enjoying Manchester? How's the day been for you so far?
Yeah, it's been good. We came in yesterday, and we got about 3 hours of plain sleep the night before. Went straight to the gym because we're body guys, as you can tell. And, of course, I'm lying. I am the opposite of a body guy. And yeah, Manchester's been a lot of fun. We came here today not expecting much, and man, you guys showed out. So I appreciate all you guys coming out and hanging out with us.
Yeah, we haven't done a bunch of the conventions like this, and we came over for Royal Quest in November, and you guys blew the roof off that match for the Aussie Open stuff. And so we love coming here. I spent a lot of my early career over here for Brian Dixon. So I've been trying to catch up with friends since we've been here. But man, you guys have kept us busy. It's been great. I'm exhausted. I'm gonna pass out as soon as I get a chance tonight, but it's been really, really fun.
Gosh, if you weren't so dang popular, you guys have not stopped all day. You've been amazing with the fans. We've been noticing that, of course. And AEW is so popular. This is one of the first times I'm getting to meet some of the AEW crew here. And my gosh, the response here in the UK has been amazing, which is why I'm assuming that Manchester came bearing gifts. What do you got there, buddy?
Yeah, so this is from our good friend, Wrestle Mob's right down here. Yeah, he brought us some Bushmills, and I thought it's the end of the day. We're gonna be done with work, so why not get started? And
then, so Mark brought us some whiskey. Yep. Our friend Carrie brought us some of these little cute shot glasses. So we're gonna sip here, get drunk, and talk to y'all.
Perfect.
Well,
this is how we do it in Manchester, ladies and gentlemen. Well, but as you're opening that, what is your drink of choice? You guys whiskey guys, you beer guys?
I think it's pretty.
What are we? Does anybody know?
Tequila.
I should have known. They did cut a little promo saying that they're going to come to Manchester and have a tequila or two, and I thought, two.
To be fair, I mean, yes, I love tequila, but my drink of choice is alcohol. So.
Oh. Thank you for that clarification.
There we go. I guess we'll start this off.
Yeah, what are we cheersing to, gentlemen? There are so many reasons to celebrate after a long, hard day. Look at your pinky up. Look at Cash's pinky up, by the way. What a gentleman.
So I think I guess we cheers to Manchester, right? I mean, it's our first time being over here and meeting and greeting you guys. So cheers to Manchester. And if you're too young to drink,
cheers to y'all.
Lift up your milk. Your chocolate milk. And cheers.
FTR on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. FTR. Oh my God. Okay. Can I get some encouragement? Round of applause?
Oh.
SoCal Val. SoCal Val. Oh, she didn't need much encouragement, guys.
That's really good. That's really good, Mark.
Not my
Thank
first
you, dude.
rodeo.
Mark, smooth.
Also, really quick, before we get started, I want to say that we had someone very special, maineventbelts.com. They brought us a legacy FTR belt.
Wow.
And it has our 7 stars because we're the only tag team in the world. I don't mean to brag, but we're the only tag team in the world to hold the Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, almost said AEWA, AEW, what else? Help me out. AAA,
Ring of Honor,
IWGP,
AAA.
Yeah. And so he's got all of our dates of our title wins too. So if you get a chance, check him out. He's over there in the back corner. And we appreciate that gift. So thank you, Main Event Belts.
Well, just like my stomach after that whiskey shot, you guys are on fire. You sure are. But gosh darn it, I mean, the popularity that you guys have received, it's just, it's undeniable. But I know that a lot of the people have come here as cosplayers. Have you seen some of the cosplay today? And have you ever seen cosplayers come as FTR?
I see a lot of cosplayers in the ring.
Guys, relax. He did not say Young Bucks, okay?
No, I actually think they're really good, and I'm hoping we get to wrestle them over here at Wembley. Maybe we get FTR Young Bucks 3 in Wembley, maybe. Actually, we do have a surprising amount of people that come with a little mullet, some bald head, and a mustache. And we actually, I don't know where they're at right now, but there's some guys here earlier that called themselves Wish FTR.
Oh.
Yeah,
And
there is a lot of cosplay FTR guys, and the thing is like, if you cosplay as Cash, man, I am proud of you because you're a good-looking dude. But if you're cosplaying as Dax, I'm sorry for you and your significant other if you look like me. So.
Well, it's affordable cosplay. It really is. Just grab
guess
yourself
so,
a
yeah.
mustache.
It's very easy.
Some whiskey. Yeah. Highly recommend. Halloween's going to be wild this year with FTR. Everyone is raising a glass to these gentlemen, and I wish that you would. Very well deserved. So cool to have you
Cheers.
guys here in the UK.
put them up. If you're drinking, put them up. If you're not, good for you.
And when you're done with your libation there, talk to us about Wembley. Because Adam Cole was here talking about how excited he was. Ruby was saying the same thing. This is a huge, huge moment. AEW's first foray into the UK. My gosh, how excited are y'all?
So I think that Wembley could be maybe the most important show in AEW history other than when they first launched. So in the last 2 years, 3 years, they've taken insanely huge steps to grow as a company. You forget sometimes that in years, the company's still a toddler. It's 4 years old. It's growing, and I think that Wembley is going to be packed. I think that you guys are going to show up. You're going to show out. People are saying like 90,000 seats might be too much, and I think it's not. I think you guys are going to really sell this son of a bitch out. The fact that we could be in Wembley Stadium blows my mind. Like, I never thought. I'm from Old Fort, North Carolina, population 800, and I'm not joking. That's still to this day. It's the tiniest town, and the fact that I could be wrestling in front of 89,000 plus, more than that, is unreal.
Yeah, and I mean, he said maybe it's the most important show in AEW's history, but man, I think it could go down as one of the most important shows in professional wrestling history. And because AEW, if you think of a company that's not WWE and you say, well, they're going to put on a show in Wembley Stadium in front of 60, 70, 80,000 people, it's almost laughable. But I think now, a company that's 4 years old, we're taking a big step, a big risk, because man, what happens? If it sells out, great, we look great. But what if it fails? That's scary. That's scary. But I think this could go down as one of the most important events in pro wrestling history, because I think that this event will take AEW to the next level. I think this event will allow AEW to shut up some of the haters and some of the critics who say, oh, they're not competition. Yeah, we might not be right up there with WWE, who has a 50-year lead on us, but we're right on your tails, and I'll be damned if we won't quit fighting until we get right there with you.
So well said. Well, gentlemen, not that I read the sheets, but little birdie told me that Bailey, who doesn't love Bailey? Bailey's amazing. We love her. What a beautiful, lovely girl. She recently said that she studies FTR, y'all, to become a tag team specialist. Your thoughts on Bailey's comments?
I think that Bailey and Mercedes both have been some of the best wrestlers, not just women wrestlers, some of the best wrestlers on the planet for the past 5, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever. And the fact that somebody like that says that they study us to get better is, I don't understand it. It doesn't compute in my brain. That computes in my brain.
Oh, Lord.
But
by the way, can I just say that he didn't say women's wrestlers, he said wrestlers.
Yeah,
so cheers to that.
They're better
Thank you,
than
Cash.
There's a. Can I say fuck?
Sure. It's the end of the day.
Close the kids' ears.
There's a fuck ton of people, male and female, that couldn't lace their boots. So the fact that people like that have been at the very top of this business and have so much more left to do are still wanting to get better, and in order to do so, they give us credit. I don't understand, but I'm very, very flattered by it.
Yeah, so what are you doing? No, that's yours. You have to finish.
I was
that.
hoping you wouldn't notice.
No, yeah, well, this. It's brown liquid in a clear cup.
This apple juice tastes weird.
I do tweet. Oh,
Uncle
hey,
Dax, how dare you? Y'all are
I mean,
only because I love
Maurice,
these two.
this is on you.
you got a couple of hundred people saying chug it, so you got to. Hell yeah. So,
Now we're talking.
to get serious, about the Bailey stuff that you said and how she studies us, I've said it to the point where it is annoying. Pro wrestling completely saved my life. I'm the biggest wrestling nerd in the world, and I say that unapologetically. I don't give a shit, or I don't care. This is how I take care of my family, my beautiful wife, my perfect daughter. I've said that to ad nauseum. But also, man, when I was a kid, wrestling took care of me. We got to hang out with Kevin Nash earlier today, and that's a man that I got to watch as a kid, and he's one of my heroes, And I look around and I see people like Powers of Pain and Booker T and the $1 Million Man. All these people are my heroes, and sometimes it's I'm gun shy to go up and talk to them, and so to hear and see people study us or take things from us, like. Recently, we saw Edge and Beth Phoenix do the Shatter Machine, and they said Shatter Machine on TV. That's a move that we made up. That's a name that we came up with. And to be able just to give that back to professional wrestling meant so much to me. It almost makes me emotional, but I can't cry in front of you guys. But being able to give back to wrestling, because it gave to me so much for 38 years and beyond, I hope. It has done so much for me, and I just hope to be able to continue to do a little bit for it.
Yes, round of applause. That's so refreshing to hear. That shot was not refreshing. That's so refreshing to hear because, we're kind of taught sometimes, even in the business or out of the business, I hate to use a phrase, but I was always told, don't be a mark, right? But it's refreshing, here at Monopoly Events, our slogan is, this is by the fans, for the fans. And it's nice to hear that, we're all still fans. It's okay to admit that you're a wrestling fan. Is that something that, people out here that are watching us talk about this, what would you say to someone that's made fun of for watching wrestling and being a fan?
Yeah, I don't understand the being made fun of or whatever. When I was in high school, before high school, after high school, like I said earlier, unapologetically, I don't care. To me, wrestling is the most pure art form in the world, and it can be taken in so many different ways. Like if you look at art from Picasso or whatever, it can mean so many different things to so many different people. Same thing with, for example, our dog collar match with the Briscoe. You can watch the Briscoes. You can watch that match, and it can mean so many different things to so many different people. I was telling one of the fans from the meet and greet earlier, there's one image of the finish of that match where I'm getting choked out by the chain, Cash is being held by his chain, and he's reaching out for me, and I'm reaching out for him. And that encapsulates that match, that encapsulates the whole trilogy, and that, to me, that encapsulates our whole career. And when you can do things like that and create art like that to me, why would anybody be ashamed of being a wrestler? It doesn't. I mean, if anyone makes fun of you, just knock them the fuck out. You know what I mean?
It's good advice, but that's art to someone. Very well put. Yeah.
I'll never understand that mentality that when you get to a certain level, you can't enjoy what you do anymore. Imagine telling a football player, hey, you can't enjoy watching football, or you can't study tape, or you can't be a fan of another player because you're a football player yourself. How do you think the best become the best, and how do you think the best get better? They do it by engulfing themselves in what they love. And like you said, wrestling has saved our lives. I'm not joking. I come from a town where there's not much future if you don't go to college, and I didn't have money to go to college. And 3 of my 4 best friends that I started out with in wrestling are dead now from overdoses. And I'm where I'm at right now because I had wrestling to keep me focused on something, to keep me saying, look, I could easily go over here and I could smoke this, or I can inject this, or I can keep my eyes on wrestling and I know what I want to do and I have a purpose in this life. And holy shit, look at me, dude. Like, I'm sitting here talking to you all, and you guys are invested in what we're talking about. And that's because I gave everything I have to wrestling, and because I still love wrestling with everything in me. Because without wrestling, I'm probably not here. Without wrestling, I'm probably not going to be able to buy the things that I have. So, yeah, it's stupid to me to be told that you can't enjoy what you do. Why are we in wrestling? There are people that get recruited from other sports because of their backgrounds to become wrestlers, and there's people that become wrestlers because they love wrestling. And the ones that become wrestlers because they love wrestling probably are the ones that are the all-time greats. They're probably the only ones that are true legends, the only ones that have committed and given back to wrestling and not just taken from it. And so I'm going to always love wrestling. I'm going to always tell people I love wrestling, and I'm going to be a fan of wrestling. And if you tell me not to, I'll fuck you up because I can.
That's why we say for the love of wrestling. Exactly. And there's a common theme. Yeah, you can cheers to that. There's a common theme, especially with the AEW folks I've met today, that everyone just seems so grateful. And to hear you guys say that, and to hear you so humble and so grateful and so respectful of the sport is really cool. So that deserves a round of applause. It sure does.
Real quick, don't take the humility too lightly because we know we're the fucking best. You know what I'm saying?
That's also true.
We also know we're the best tag team in the world, maybe the best tag team of all time. So I don't know.
I'm looking around like who's still here that's listening. The Dudleys are around.
I did see Demolition and Dudley Boys
Hey,
earlier,
they're
so
gone.
I
Who
might
cares?
need to
We're trying to
watch my
book some
mouth.
angles. I'm
doing a
hoping
good job.
Barb and Warlord come out here and confront us right now.
Oh, geez Louise. We're going to go to Mr. To ease that tension that you could cut with a knife. We're going to go to Mr. Brooker, who has some lovely fan questions so we can get interactive with you guys here in Manchester.
I'm going to walk around here. I'm just going to say, Tuesday morning, it's a bank holiday. There's going to be a lot of kids getting knocked the fuck out in random schools.
There is.
You're welcome, Manchester.
Leaving
We
an
need more of that
impression.
in this world these days, I think.
Hi guys, I'd like to ask you the same question that I asked to Adam Cole. Is there any, if you could go to any promotion and face any current champion, who would it be?
I would go to AEW and wrestle FTR.
Yeah, we're the best, you know. Any current champion, I guess I would have to say right now, Aussie Open. I think they're the best tag team. I think they're the best tag team not named FTR. I don't know of any other champions. Singles-wise, for myself, speaking for myself, Dax, I would like to go to WWE and wrestle Gunther. I think he's the only champion worth his weight, and and maybe who is a great professional wrestler. That's somebody I'd like to wrestle.
So I'm going to go with Aussie Open also because I think they are the future of tag team wrestling. I think that the match we had with them at Royal Quest was one of my favorites of all time. And if not for the 3 matches with the Briscoes in the past year, then it would probably be my favorite match we've ever had. So Aussie Open are very high on my list anyway. The fact that they happen to have our IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles.
Your IWGP.
Ours.
Okay.
That makes me want to run it back.
Yep.
So maybe if we don't get Young Bucks FTR 3 at Wembley, maybe we get Aussie Open FTR 2.
Oh my goodness.
Champion versus champion. But I would also love to work with Chris Bay and Ace Austin. I think their best years are ahead of them. I think obviously they're young, they're extremely talented. They're still going to be growing and learning and becoming what they're going to eventually evolve into. And I'd love to be part of that. Those are the 2 that come off the top of the head. Other than that, I'm not real positive.
Well, the world is your oyster. Australia, the UK. It might be a good time to mention that our Progress Wrestling Tag Team Champions, Chuck Mambo and TK Cooper in the house. Give a round of applause. They are our current tag team champions.
Hello,
Maybe
boys.
a nice time to introduce them to you. Yes. Yes. Just keep them in mind. Memorize these faces, okay?
I'm sure we'll become very familiar with each other.
I'm sure we'll see you
Well,
guys.
cheers to you,
Cheers.
gentlemen. Cheers.
Yeah, hell yeah.
A nice, polite cheers, okay. Again, tension in Manchester. We have Mr. Brooker right here in the middle with a question from this lovely gentleman. Hi, sir.
I'm just saying there's a couple of lads in the building called Synergy who would love to say hello as well.
Everyone's
but I've got
after
a question here.
Hi, it's well known, obviously, that you both get along with CM Punk really well. I was just wondering, what's the best advice that CM Punk has given both of you?
Won't lie, you had us in the first half.
Oh my God. First of all, your mustache is aight.
When your other testicle drops, it's going to be fantastic, though.
Dax starter kit, brother. 1, 2, 3. There we go. What is the best advice Punk has given us? Man, there's not one piece of advice. Listen, I'm sure we're gonna get a ton of Punk questions, and that's okay. I don't mind. He is one of my best friends in the business. He hasn't given me any specific advice, but I've been pretty forward about my anxiety issues, and my anxiety issues stemmed from sleeping, and so going to work was really difficult to me because I didn't have my wife, who was my support system. I didn't have her on the road with me, right? And not that Punk helped me in the way my wife does, if you know what I'm saying. Maria, sorry about that, girl. I hope you're not listening. But she was my support system and she was my comfort, right? And so going on the road was really difficult for me because I was worried about sleep and I was worried about my mind would just wander. But Punk would say, hey, come to my room, let's watch wrestling, let's hang out. And he just helped me acclimate my brain back to being on the road from my anxiety issues. So I'm forever indebted to him to that.
My answer is not going to get any better than that. He really hasn't given us any specific advice. The crazy thing is he's usually just very complimentary of what we've done. Like if we have a match with Aussie Open and he gets a link and he watches it, usually it's just you guys are insanely good. To me, like, I think most importantly is just we're very like-minded as far as our mentality goes wrestling-wise. And so that's what's kind of bonded us. But he really hasn't given us a ton of wrestling advice other than, like, you guys keep doing what you're doing, which I think maybe more so than anything gives us the confidence to know that we're on the right path.
I think an advice question you could ask anybody else in the AEW locker room who is not overconfident, because he literally had his door open for everyone. He would watch every match. People would go to him and say, hey, can you watch my match and tell me what I did right, what I did wrong? And he would stay from the beginning of the show to the very end of the show. And he did that. And that's because he does love professional wrestling, just like we do.
And I want to say it's very commendable for you to talk about your mental health issues, because we had some questions earlier today that were about head injuries or mental health, or how do I do this? I'm an aspiring wrestler trying to get in that mental space. So you guys have been great with social media as well. Can you talk about your social media journey? Has it been helpful, harmful? How do you, choose what to share and what not to share? It's a fine line, right?
So my social media presence is minimal these days because I feel like it's a good barometer to gauge at least an idea if you're doing the right thing or not. But I think there's a small minority of people that are the most vocal, and they're also the most negative. So usually the people that are tweeting you constantly are not the ones that are telling you how well you're doing or how they appreciate how you've helped them through a hard time or something. Usually it's the ones that have an agenda, and that agenda is negative. So I've just got to the point where I understand that I can interact to an extent, but I know that I need to just be in real life. I need to be as present as possible with you guys. When I'm not with you guys, and if I'm just with him, I know that I need to not think about social media too much and just talk about how our lives are going, how he's doing, like what we're gonna do when we get to television one week. I try to just use social media as a tool. I love interacting to an extent, and I used to love pissing people off on there. It was so much fun. And then it got to a point where it goes from being fun to where people knew that I would like to rile them up.
Right.
And so they came there just to piss me off, just to get a response. And I said, I've done this to myself. Like, I've responded to people, and I've made myself laugh. and they've enjoyed it, so they want to come get the same abuse. So I got to the point where now I just try to be as positive as I can on there and interact with the people that I know support. I don't mind constructive criticism. I really, really appreciate that because I think I only get better with constructive criticism. But if it's the people that aren't being constructive, if they're just being negative for the sake of tearing you down, you can't let that get to you. And so I don't. Like, I can get on Twitter and I can see some negative shit, and I just think, and I move on with my day because
You don't know your life, yeah.
Because I know that that person probably has something very, very bad going on in their life. And so me responding to that negatively is either gonna make it worse for them or it's gonna encourage them to do it to somebody else. And I would just rather not. So I enjoy interacting to an extent now, but most importantly, I just enjoy using it as a tool to promote what we're gonna do, just so everybody can be aware of it and join us and have fun. Other than that, I'm gonna be present and in real life and drinking some whiskey.
There you go. There you go.
To be short and sweet and concise, reading social media, especially with the podcast that I had, like reading social media, I told him this a couple of times, like, if day one you read and someone says, "Oh, Dax is a terrible human being," you're like, look at that, read that. Day 15, Dax is a piece of shit. Oh, that's so funny. Day 57, you start to think, man, am I really a terrible human being? Am I really a bad father? Am I setting a bad example for my family? Am I a detriment to pro wrestling? You start to think that, and that sucks, but that's just how people's minds work. So I had to make sure that I stopped checking the mentions and just promoted our brand. And as far as the podcast goes, I hate that we had to quit, but it was causing more harm than good, I thought. But above all, Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez suck. So that's all I got to say about that.
On that note. But yeah, there's definitely a helpful way to use social media and to have a handle on it. You guys certainly do. Speaking of having a handle on things, where's Mr. Brooker with another question? We have
To
time
your
for a few
right,
more.
I know what the headlines are going to be tomorrow in
There
The
he
Observer.
is. Uh-oh.
Go ahead, my friend.
You guys are obviously big wrestling fans. What is also your all-time favorite tag team match that you weren't in?
God dang. I think mine is, mine's for sure the Midnight Express versus, I would say, just speaking off the top of my head, Midnight Express and Fantastics, probably from Chattanooga, Tennessee. It's on a worldwide. I think it went about 45 minutes. To me, tag team wrestling should be completely different. It's a gimmick match. It really is just a gimmick match. And it should be completely different than a singles match. And those four guys, Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane and Bobby Fulton and Tommy Rogers, they were so fluid in how they incorporated each guy. And how the match just flowed, and the heels, the bad guys, just made you love the good guys even more. So Bobby Eaton is probably recognized within the industry as being the greatest actual wrestler of the 80s, but he sacrificed being really, really, really good to make sure that his good guys looked even better than him. So yeah, Chattanooga, Tennessee. I want to say somewhere in April something, maybe May 7th of 1988, something like that. Midnight Express versus the Fantastics.
So we don't differ too much when it comes to match preference. That's very high on the list for me. There's another match between Arn and Ole versus the Rock and Roll Express, and it's right around, is it 86? July 86?
Yeah, July of 86, Great American Bash Tour.
Yeah, and Ricky was out for an extended period with a nose injury that they were selling. That was the angle. And this is the big kind of comeback story for the baby faces. And they just tell the story so well, and it goes 25, 26 minutes. And it's so different than the matches you see today because, like, I hate using terminology, but you guys are going to trick me into it. So, like, the babyface shine isn't them doing moves. It's not them doing all their cool, greatest hits. It's them messing up Arn's nose and getting back what they did to him, and just the simplicity of it, but also the logic behind it, the realism behind it, the emotion behind it. And I said it to somebody earlier in line, like, moves are moves, like they help tell the story, but they aren't the story. Emotion is always going to be the story, and moves are going to, I can tell you that I've seen 4 630s through tables in the past month, and I can't tell you what matches and who did them. I just know that they get a great reaction because they look fantastic. But I can also tell you that emotion never goes out of style. Emotion is always going to be something that people can latch onto more than a move. Like, I can watch Cirque du Soleil and be impressed, but I don't understand what it feels like to do any of that shit because I can't do that shit. But I understand what it feels like to be upset, sad, mad, happy. And then when I see that in the ring, I can connect to that emotionally. And I think that's what draws people in more than anything. So that match, just the way they told that story and the way he gets the comeback, that's a beautiful match for me. I didn't ramble at all.
No, that's a great analogy with the Cirque du Soleil thing. Yeah, round of applause. Could not agree more. Mr. Brooker, we have time for 2 more questions only, I've been told.
Just very briefly, because
Yes,
you shone the light in the sky and you said you'd be happy to challenge any champions. Apparently there's one set of champions that you've not beaten. It's Troy Ryan and Anderson Daniels, a Future Shock Tag Team Champions,
Oh.
Synergy.
My God, everybody's
Having a
here,
moment.
huh?
Couple of
Tell
big
them next time we do the meet and greet to buy a ticket and confront us, and we'll happily consider their offer.
Yikes. No, I would, yeah, of course. Hell yeah, I would. I would love to add an 8th star or a 9th star and whatever.
We're trying to get to double-digit stars, and we've been stuck at 7 for a while. So if you got some companies that are looking to lose their tag titles, call us, please.
Hey, Booker Man, would you mind taking pink shirt right here,
Yes.
please?
We're in deep gratitude, by the way.
Sorry, thank you very much. Yes, yeah. Sorry, thank you. You touched on getting more stars. I know there's different relationships with AEW around with Pro Wrestling Noah now. New Japan have relationships with CMLL. You've touched on Ace Austin and Impact titles. Is that a possibility in the next coming years? You can work over there, go for other titles, or is that kind of out of your scope now?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a possibility for sure. I mean, we want to come to Progress too. We want to, we want to do a lot of different things. CMLL, there we go, too much Bushmills. CMLL, we want to win their tag team championships, of course. Impact, we would love to too. But, ultimately, we just want to do things that are going to be good for professional wrestling, good for the people that enjoy and love us, and whatever that may be, whatever opportunity comes up, then yeah, of course we're going to go there.
Yeah, I say we want to get to 10 stars, but I don't know if I really care about that so much as just doing things that matter with the time that we have left in wrestling. Because, and I told you guys, we signed a 4-year deal, and when we're done with that, like, we might, maybe, every now and then come out just because we love wrestling, and I'm going to have to wrestle here and there, but like, we're probably done full-time for sure in 4 years. And so before those 4 years are up, I just want to have as many moments and memories as possible and hope that we do stuff that's remembered 20, 30 years from now, like we're talking about Arn and Ole and Rock and Roll and Fantastics and Midnights. I'm hoping that more than anything that we leave a legacy that's appreciated and talked about in the year 2053.
And that's the thing too, and he talked about it a little earlier, using emotion, making you guys feel. And I feel that, this could be me being naive or patting ourselves on the back or whatever. I feel that obviously we're not as athletic as a lot of guys you see on TV today. Obviously we can't do a lot of the moves they can do, but I think that, and I feel that you guys actually like us, and you actually might even love us a little bit, and that's the emotion that we want to garner, and that's what we want people to remember, because having great matches and doing great moves is so cool, but man, having you guys come through our meet and greets and cry and hug us and tell us how much we mean to you, that's what I love. Like I could crash and burn, but I could do a 630 off the top rope and you guys could say this is awesome and you could pop for the move, but you love the move. You don't love me. But if you love me, man, if you love me and him, that's what it's about. And we're leaving a legacy. So, 20, 30 years from now, you guys can talk about us the way I talk about Bret Hart, That's a ramble. That's a Bushmills ramble.
No, it's amazing.
Please don't attempt a 630. Please.
No 630s. We have time for one final question. By the way, this is what you call fighting champions, no matter where they're at. Very cool. We have time for one final question. Over to the right, Mr. Brooker.
This young man, if you'd like to stand
Oh,
up,
yes,
please.
the young gentleman.
Oh, you wanting to fight, kid? You want to fight?
Are you his dad?
Oh, okay, never mind. Go ahead, ask
These
your
two are a
question.
team, him and his dad. Go ahead.
Firstly, I'm gonna knock the fuck out of my friend Zach.
Oh, shit.
God, I'm a great role model.
Wrap it up.
Come here and have a shot with me, kid.
I am so embarrassed.
I am so proud.
I am so embarrassed to be a father right now. Oh my God.
I don't have kids, so I'm a great influence.
Hey, do you want some Bushmills? And that was it.
Are you trying to give whiskey to a child?
I am
mean,
not. Authorities, I am not trying to give whiskey to a child.
I'm fully aware the drinking age is a bit lower over here. I'm not sure it's...
That kid's at least 25. At
right,
least.
we'll ask officially. How old are you?
10.
Well,
I was really close.
You could have.
Oh,
you could
you're
have.
only 10, dude. Do you want some Bushmills?
All right, what's your question, 10-year-old?
Oh yeah, is there any belts left for you to catch?
Catch like they're Pokemon, huh? I don't know. To me right now, I guess holding belts isn't as important as making, I know you said fuck earlier, beating the fuck out of somebody, that's cool. But, if I'm going to be kind of sappy or corny right now, like right now in 2023, holding belts isn't as important to me as making you, what's your name? I'm sorry. Taylor. Yeah, so Taylor, there's a rope. So like holding belts isn't as important to me as making Taylor actually like me and want to eventually one day maybe be me or do things that I do, or even if that doesn't mean be a wrestler, even if that means like, oh, maybe I want to grow up one day and be a great father. Like that's the things that are important to me. Or maybe one day I want to work really, really, really hard and get a college education or have a family and take care of my family. Those are the things that are important to me now. Wrestling is a small, I learned this very late in life, that professional wrestling is a very, very small part of my life. I love it. I love professional wrestling with all my heart, all my soul. And the man that I perceive to be God, my wife, my daughter, and professional wrestling, that's kind of how I rank things. But it's such a small part of what I do and what my life revolves around. My life right now revolves around making myself happy, but on top of that, making my wife happy, making my daughter happy, making you happy, dude. Like, because you and your family, and look, you're a lucky, lucky, lucky man, because I guess just you're his dad. You're so lucky because your dad actually brought you to this. Your dad actually spent money to allow you to have a good time, right? So you got a cool ass dad, man, and you should be very happy that that's who you get to spend your life with. That's the guy for the next 8 years. You're 10, right? The next 8 years at the very least, you get to spend your life with your dad, and that's cool because me and Dan, we didn't really have dads that took care of us the way your dad did. I'm getting off on a tangent, but the belts thing is cool, and I would love to win and, win every belt around the world, and I'd love to become the greatest tag team of all time, and that is our plan. But if I could make Taylor like me and like Cash for the rest of his life, and him to say, hey, I want to be like these guys, man, that means more to me than any other belt in the world.
Yeah, I won't add too much to that. Like he said, selfishly, if I was just looking at it from a me perspective, I would love to win every title from every company ever, because that's what people are going to say. Oh, look, he won this and this and this and this and this and this. But more importantly than anything, I just want to leave a positive influence on everybody. I don't want you to actually drink Bushmills. I did laugh when you said fuck, but I do kind of feel bad that I taught you that, kind of. But really, honestly, more than anything, when I take a step back from that me perspective and I'm truthful with myself, I just want to make a difference in this. Like I said, wrestling saved me, and I mean that. So the more good we can do for it, if that means I never win another title, cool. If it means that I get to make these people actually remember something, even cooler. The fact, like he said, that you get to come here with your dad and share this is going to be a core memory for you, I hope. This will be something that you remember forever. And I didn't get to do that a lot when I was a kid, but now I get to give those memories back to the best of my ability. And that's really what's going to matter the most. It would be cool to say, yes, we're the Impact Tag Team Champions also. We're the Pro Wrestling Noah Tag Team Champions. We're the CMLL Tag Team Champions. But if that doesn't happen, I'm not going to think, man, I really messed up. I lost out. We've already done more than I ever should have done. I've accomplished more than I ever should have accomplished. I'm kicking out of my range here. Everything I've done for the past probably 5 years is more than I should have done ever in life. And I'm only 35, so I feel like I've done all right for myself. So again, now it's just time to give back. If I never win another title, cool. If I get to do stuff like this with you guys and enjoy, like you said, we sat in this line, or we sat at the end of the line, and every time somebody came up, they had a different memory, a different thing they wanted to ask about, a different thing that stuck with them, that had an effect on them. And we do these things more. I don't want to travel. I hate traveling now. If I could sit at home 8 days a week, I would. But I prefer getting out and having this stuff because I think it matters. I think it makes the world a better place to have this kind of camaraderie. That's why, again, I say being a wrestling fan is not a bad thing, whether you're in the business or not. Being a wrestling fan gives you something to connect with people to. And I think more than anything, I'll shut up really soon, but that's what matters. So yeah, if we win more titles, cool. Hopefully we win one in the next 10 years so you can wrestle us. But if not, as long as you guys have fun and you guys take something away from it because we've given you something, that's way more important to me.
Dude. Taylor, just grow up and be a badass human being. That's all you can do, man, okay?
Give it up for Taylor, everybody. Great question. Great advice from these two gentlemen here. I was going to ask for final thoughts, but I don't know how you're going to top that, guys. But just any final words for your fans here in Manchester as we wrap things up? You guys have been amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, dude. I appreciate you. You made this so easy. God dang. I don't want to be so emotional and so transparent where you guys think, oh, they're not really that tough. But to be able to do things like this, and like you said, we haven't done very many of these, just very, we pick and choose, and I don't like being away from my family very often, but I had to take this opportunity and come out to you guys and see you guys because I want you to know that we appreciate, I can't tell you enough, we appreciate everything you've given to us. Everybody came through our line today and said thank you for all the sacrifices and all that shit that you've done for us, but for me, my wife and my daughter right now are sitting at home, and my wife is homeschooling my daughter because of you guys, because you guys give me a life that I never even had before, and I never could dream of having right now. So more than anything, thank you for this career. Thank you for this life. Thank you for coming out, and I hope we've made you proud, and I hope we continue to make you proud. I love you, dude. I love you.
Yeah, final thoughts, pretty much the same thing. Especially lately, I've really started to understand how lucky I am to be able to share this with this guy and to share this with all of y'all. And I get so fucking emotional like a big baby, but I can still fight you all. But I can't help but appreciate the love you guys have given us, because life wasn't easy. Life isn't easy for anybody, but especially growing up, it was difficult. And so I didn't know where I was going to be, how I was going to end up. I didn't have a lot of hopes other than this. So getting to do these things, like you said, the fact that we get to come out here, and it's not about money anymore. We've made money, we've saved money. We could open a wrestling store. He's got a kid, but money's cool, but more than money, memories are something that I want to make right now. I want to come out here, and I want to thank you guys for the love you've given us. Again, early in my career, if I didn't come to England and I didn't do the Brian Dixon camps and I didn't learn and be with the people that I was with, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I have so much to be thankful for and so many people to thank for that I want to come out here and literally I want to take our time. If you guys come through our line, I want to talk to you. I want to hear your stories and I want to tell you our thoughts back. Like that stuff is more important to me than like we told Taylor, it's more important than titles. It's more important than being considered the greatest. Thanking you guys and hearing the stories about how we've impacted you keeps us going. Like knowing that we've actually had that kind of impact, that effect on somebody. Woo, woo.
Time for a final shot.
Let's take it on home.
And I will tell you guys that, you talk about important stuff and memories. You've made memories for everybody here today, and it means a lot to all of us, so thank you.
I forgot one really, really important thing. Shit, I forgot one important thing. Fuck the Young Bucks, by the way, okay?
Oh.
Top guys out.
How's that for a final thought? Ladies and gentlemen, this has been amazing. Thank you for your candor. You guys are awesome. You've inspired all of us here today, here in Manchester. Give it up for FTR.